Yo anime warriors, strap in for the shonen-fueled chaos of anime-run kingdom on Roblox. A strategy epic where your favorite manga legends clash to save the multiverse. Picture Shadow shredding waves like a rogue ninja, only for Astra to trip over his own summon. I'm your gem-grinding, banner-spinning guide who's blown 250 gems on dud pulls, wiped in raids, and laughed at Norato's fumbles. Today, we're ranking all 26 units from meta-tier gods to C-tier clunkers, packed with wild anime mishaps and pro tips to dominate story, raids, and infinite. Grab your gems, evolve your squad, and let's write an anime legend. In Anime Run Kingdom, units are your anime champs, pulled from banners with 25 gems, solo, or 250 gems, 10x, powered up through evolutions and synergy bonds like Agua's useless party boost. Meta-tier units like Zura tank raids like gods, while C-tier duds like Astra are like Naruto forgetting his Rasengan. Pray for luck. Place DPS units like Shadow for wave clearing, healers like Agua for survival, and tanks like Zura up front. The meta thrives on meta tier's raw power, but A tier can steal the show with smart synergy and a smirk. Let's start with C tier flops and sprint to meta tier glory. Here comes C tier, the rookie dojo of Anime Run Kingdom, where units stumble harder than a filler arc sidekick. Perfect for early story waves when you're still figuring out if summoning Astra was bold or bonkers. These underdogs are what you get when gems are tight or you're brave enough to laugh at your own wipe. Imagine Soonade swinging at air. This tier's all about those hilarious fails that keep you hooked, so let's meet the clumsiest champs. Say hello to Soonade, the fizzy flop slashing with a 200 gem pull. This wannabe warrior once tripped mid-attack, hitting his own shadow. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more splash than slash, turning a wave into a Soonade snafu. Use him in early story for a chuckle, toss into weak waves for a test, or pair with a budget synergy for a laugh. Evolve with 250 gems, but he's a foe's best pal. Next up, Alpho, the alpha dud blasting with a 210 gem spar. This hero tried to shine but zapped his own team. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more fizzle than fire, turning a fight into an alpha oops. Stick him in early story for a weak hit, use in a lull for a giggle, or pair with a cheap unit. Evolve with 260 gems, but he's enemy bait. Time to meet Norato, the ninja nuisance with a 220 gem spin. This shinobi once Rasengan the wrong target. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more miss than master, turning a plan into a Norato nightmare. Use an early story for a single target try, toss into a rush for a laugh, or pair with a filler unit. Evolve with 270 gems, but he's a waves VIP. Brace for Broccoli, the green goof punching with a 230 gem thud. This veggie vibe champ once punched his own squad. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more sprout than strike, turning a wave into a broccoli blunder. Use an early story for a chuckle, test in weak waves for a jab, or pair with a budget unit. Evolve with 280 gems, but he's a foe's snack. Here comes Ur, the quirky kicker with a 240 gem shot. This oddball once kicked the air, missing every foe. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more flair than fighter, turning a fight into a Ur yikes. Stick in early story for a weak play, use in a lull for a laugh, or pair with a cheap synergy. Evolve with 290 gems, but he's enemy catnip. Next, Delto, the muscle misfit smashing with a 250 gem slam. This brute once crushed his own strategy. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more bulk than brawn, turning a defense into a Delto dud. Use an early story for a tank try, toss into a mob for a chuckle, or pair with a filler unit. Evolve with 300 gems, but he's a waves pal. Say hello to Sword, the blade blunder slashing with a 260 gem swing. This swordsman once sliced the wrong side. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more oops than ace, turning a plan into a sword slip. Use an early story for a single target hit, test in a rush for a laugh, or pair with a budget unit. Evolve with 310 gems, but he's foe fodder. Time to unleash Astra, the starry stumble with a 270 gem glow. This cosmic flop once dazzled his own team. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more spark than star, turning a wave into an Astra accident. Stick an early story for a weak play, use in a lull for a chuckle, or pair with a cheap synergy. Evolve with 320 gems, but he's a banner bust. Next up, Livewa, the lively letdown with a 280 gem spark. This champ tried to hype the squad but tripped mid-dance. Imagine a 2-limit zone where she's more groove than glory, turning a fight into a level a laugh. Use an early story for a test, toss into weak waves for a giggle, or pair with a filler unit. Evolve with 330 gems. But she's enemy bait. Brace for Gone, the vanishing goof with a 290 gem fade. This hero once vanished mid-battle, leaving his team. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more ghost than god, turning a plan into a gone gaff. Use an early story for a chuckle, test in a rush for a laugh, or pair with a budget unit. Evolve with 340 gems, but he's a wave's best friend. Finally, Redward, the fiery flop with a 300 gem blaze. This hothead once burned his own strategy. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more sizzle than strike, turning a wave into a Redward ruckus. Use an early story for a weak hit, toss into a mob for a chuckle, or pair with a cheap synergy. Evolve with 350 gems, but he's faux fodder. Now let's dash to B tier, the steady shinobi of Anime Run Kingdom, mid-game champs who turn battles into anime action flicks. Perfect for when you've got gems to burn and want to mix skill with silliness. These reliable rogues are the roster's backbone. Not the flashiest, but packing enough punch to hold the line. Think Byakuya missing his own mark, or Huffy tripping mid-rush. This tier's where you start owning waves with a smirk, so let's meet these mid-tier marvels. Here comes Byakuya, the soulful striker slashing with a 320 gem spin. This swordsman once soul-cut his own ally. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more flair than fighter, turning a wave into a Byakuya blunder. Use in mid-story for a single target hit, toss into a mob for a chuckle, or pair with Kenpaki for a plus 10% DPS kick. Evolve with 360 gems, slice to A tier. Next up, Azuno, the fiery fox with a 330 gem blaze. This spirit once burned the wrong target. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more spark than star, turning a fight into an Azuno oops. Stick in mid-story for a balanced play, use in a lull for a laugh, or pair with Kiwido for a plus 10% RNG giggle. Evolve with 370 gems, flare to A tier. Time to meet Huffy, the stretchy stumble punching with a 340 gem stretch. This rubbery goof once bounced into his own team. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more flop than fist, turning a wave into a Huffy hilarity. Use in mid-story for a weak DPS, toss into a rush for a chuckle, or pair with Breeza for a plus 10% SPD boost. Evolve with 380 gems, bounce to A tier. Brace for Kenpaki, the blade blunder with a 350 gem slash. This warrior once missed his own Bankai. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more swagger than Slayer, turning a fight into a Kenpaki kerfuffle. Use in mid-story for a single target hit, test in a mob for a laugh, or pair with Byakuya for a plus 15% DMG kick. Evolve with 390 gems, cut to A tier. Here comes Breeza, the windy warrior gusting with a 360 gem breeze. This speedster once blew her own squad away. Imagine a 2-limit zone where she's more gust than glory, turning a wave into a Breeza blunder. Use in mid-infinite for a SPD boost, toss into a rush for a chuckle, or pair with Azuno for a plus 10% RNG giggle. Evolve with 400 gems, soar to A tier. Finally, Kiwido, the quirky kicker with a 370 gem shot. This oddball once kicked the wrong goal. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more flair than fighter, turning a fight into a Kiwido chaos. Use in mid-story for a balanced play, test in a mob for a laugh, or pair with Huffy for a plus 10% SPD boost. Evolve with 410 gems, kick to A tier. Time to unleash A tier, the anime aces of Anime Run Kingdom, mid-game maestros who turn battles into shonen showdowns. Perfect for when you've nailed banner pulls and want to shine with slick moves. These crafty champs blend power with panache. Picture Waguda tripping mid-sprint or Ruki dazzling the wrong side. This tier's where you rule with a grin, so let's spotlight these mid-tier marvels. Say hello to Waguda, the Saiyan sprinter blasting with a 380 gem beam. This warrior once zapped his own squad. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more flash than fight, turning a wave into a Waguda whoops. Use in mid-infinite for a DPS boost, toss into a boss fight for a chuckle, or pair with free run for a plus 15% SPD kick. Evolve with 420 gems, blast to S tier. Next up, Ruki, the lunar legend slashing with a 390 gem glow. This moonlit hero once blinded his own team. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more shine than strike, turning a fight into a rookie ruckus. Stick in mid-story for a single target hit, use in a rush for a laugh, or pair with Epsilon for a plus 15% DMG giggle. Evolve with 430 gems, shine to S tier. Time to meet Epsilon, the Cosmic Crusher with a 400 gem void. This anti-hero once erased his own strategy. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more void than Victor, turning a wave into an Epsilon error. Use in mid-infinite for a balanced DPS, toss into a mob for a chuckle, or pair with Smush for a plus 10% RNG boost. Evolve with 440 gems, crush to S tier. Brace for Huffy Snake Man, the slithery striker with a 410 gem hiss. This stretchy champ once tangled his own team. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more coil than clout, turning a fight into a huffy hilarity. Use in mid-story for a DPS play, test in a rush for a laugh, or pair with iHawk for a plus 15% SPD kick. Evolve with 450 gems, slither to S tier. Here comes Free Run, the speedy spark with a 420 gem dash. This runner once outran his own plan. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more blur than brilliance, turning a wave into a free run fumble. Use in mid-infinite for a SPD boost, toss into a boss fight for a chuckle, or pair with Waguda for a plus 15% DMG giggle. Evolve with 460 gems, sprint to S tier. Next, iHawk, the sharp-eyed sniper with a 430 gem shot. This hawk once missed his own mark. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more squawk than strike, turning a fight into an iHawk oops. Use in mid-story for a single target hit, test in a mob for a laugh, or pair with Rookie for a plus 10% RNG boost. Evolve with 470 gems, soar to S tier. Finally, Smush, the heavy hitter smashing with a 440 gem slam. This brute once crushed his own squad. Imagine a 2-limit zone where he's more brawn than brain, turning a wave into a Smush slip. Use in mid-infinite for a DPS boost, toss into a rush for a chuckle, or pair with Epsilon for a plus 15% SPD kick. Evolve with 480 gems, smash to S tier. Now let's blast into S tier, the shonen superstars of Anime Run Kingdom, late-game legends who turn battles into anime epics. Perfect for when you've mastered banners and are ready to dominate. These units are the roster's elite shredding waves with flair. Recall Kenpaki's Bankai obliterating foes or Kokeku tripping mid-combo. This tier is where you become the ultimate summoner, so let's unveil these anime icons. Here comes Kenpaki, the soul-slaying samurai with a 450 gem slash. This Bankai beast once cut through his own strategy. Imagine a 3-limit zone where he's a blade god, turning a wave into a Kenpaki carnage. Use in late infinite for DPS mayhem, toss into raids for a laughable slash, or pair with Byakuya for a plus 20% DMG kick. Evolve with 500 gems, cut to meta tier. Next up, Kokeku, the fiery fiend blasting with a 460 gem flare. This hothead once scorched his own team. Imagine a 3-limit zone where he's a flame frenzy, turning a fight into a Kokeku chaos. Stick in late story for AoE power, use in raids for a chuckle, or pair with Zawa for a plus 15% RNG boost. Evolve with 510 gems, blaze to meta tier. Time to meet Byakuya, the pedal-powered prince with a 470 gem bloom. This Soul Reaper once pedaled his own squad. Imagine a 3-limit zone where he's a floral fury, turning a wave into a Byakuya ballet. Use in late infinite for single target DPS, toss into a boss fight for a laugh, or pair with Kenpaki for a plus 20% SPD kick. Evolve with 520 gems, bloom to meta tier. Brace for Zawa, the icy idol with a 480 gem chill. This cool cat once froze his own plan. Imagine a 3-limit zone where he's more frost than force, turning a fight into a Zawa zinger. Use in late story for a balanced play, test in raids for a chuckle, or pair with Sasuke for a plus 15% DMG giggle. Evolve with 530 gems, freeze to meta tier. Here comes Sasuke, the shadow striker with a 490 gem slash. This ninja once shadowed his own team. Imagine a 3-limit zone where he's a dark dynamo, turning a wave into a Sasuke storm. Use in late infinite for DPS power, toss into a boss fight for a laugh, or pair with Azuno Stasia for a plus 120% RNG boost. Evolve with 540 gems, strike to meta tier. Next, Kiwido, the quirky king with a 500 gem kick. This oddball once kicked his own strategy. Imagine a 3-limit zone where he's more flair than fighter, turning a fight into a Kiwido chaos. Use in late story for a balanced hit, test in raids for a chuckle, or pair with Kokiku for a plus 15% SPD kick. Evolve with 550 gems, kick to meta tier. Finally, Azuno Stasia, the fiery fox goddess with a 510 gem blaze. This spirit once burned her own squad. Imagine a 3-limit zone where she's a flame phenom, turning a wave into an Azuno annihilation. Use in late infinite for AoE mayhem, toss into a boss fight for a laugh, or pair with Zawa for a plus 20% DMG kick. Evolve with 560 gems, blaze to meta tier. Finally, let's ascend to meta tier, the anime gods of Anime Run Kingdom, multiverse destroying titans who turn every battle into a shonen climax. Perfect for when you've grinded evolutions and are ready to rule. These units are the roster's ultimate champs, crushing waves with unmatched swagger. Picture Agua healing like a deity or Shadow shredding like a rogue cage. This tier's where you become a legend, so let's unveil these anime titans. Here comes Agua, the healing goddess with a 520 gem glow. This water queen once healed her own foes by mistake. Imagine a 4-limit zone where she's a divine doctor, turning a wave into an Agua miracle. Use in late raids for unmatched healing, toss into infinite for a laughable save, or pair with Boki for a plus 30% HP boost. Evolve with 600 gems and reign supreme. Next up, Shadow, the DPS demon with a 530 gem slash. This rogue ninja once shredded his own plan. Imagine a 4-limit zone where he's a dark destroyer, turning a fight into a shadow slaughter. Use in late infinite for insane DPS, test in raids for a chuckle, or pair with Zura for a plus 25% DMG kick. Evolve with 610 gems and dominate. Time to meet Bucky, the support superstar with a 540 gem buff. This strategist once boosted the wrong side. Imagine a 3-limit zone where he's a synergy king, turning a wave into a Baki brilliance. Use in late story for team buffs, toss into infinite for a laugh, or pair with Agua for a plus 20% RNG boost. Evolve with 620 gems and rule. Brace for Zura, the tank titan with a 550 gem shield. This summoner once tanked his own squad. Imagine a 4-limit zone where he's a stone wall turning a fight into a Zura fortress. Use in late raids for unbreakable defense, test in infinite for a chuckle, or pair with Shadow for a plus 25% SPD kick. Evolve with 630 gems and stand tall. Finally, villains, the chaotic crew with a 560 gem mayhem. This evil squad once betrayed their own plan. Imagine a 4-limit zone where they're pure pandemonium, turning a wave into a villain's victory. Use in late infinite for hybrid power, toss into raids for a laugh, or pair with Baki for a plus 30% DMG kick. Evolve with 640 gems and conquer. Assemble your anime squad like a shonen master. Pair Agua with Boki for a plus 30% HP healing fortress, or Shadow with Zura for a plus 25% DMG tank DPS duo that obliterates raids. Place healers like Agua in the back, DPS like Shadow on flanks, and tanks like Zura up front. Grind gems in story with codes like Shonen for 500 gems, .code in chat, and evolve units for late game power. Newbies, start with free run for easy DPS. Pros, grind for Shadow's Evo to crush infinite. Check Trello or Discord for banner updates and new units. Synergize Kanpaki with Byakuya for a plus 20% DMG Soul Slash, or Azuno Stasia with Zawa for a plus 20% RNG Fire Ice combo. The battle's done, warriors! Anime Run Kingdom's roster ranked from Astra's flops to Shadow's supremacy. You're the shonen master now, whether you're healing with Agua or laughing at Naruto's fumbles. Meta tier owns raids, while C tier sparks your journey with grins. Newbies, try Waguda for early wins. Pros, evolve Zura for tanking glory. Team Shadow with villains for a chaotic duo, or grind gems for banner pulls. Redeem codes, stock Trello, and write your anime epic. What's your Anime Run Kingdom story? Are you shredding with Shadow or tripping with Astra? Drop your clutch raids, banner fails, or synergy wins below. Let's share the shonen hype. Smash that like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more Roblox chaos. The multiverse is calling. Summon your legend.